The morning sunlight felt wrong. It poured straight through my living room windows, harsh and exposed, like my house had been put on display overnight. For 8 years, a thick wall of deep green hedges had stood between my home and the road, quiet guardians that blocked noise, headlights, and the HOA's constant need to control everything. I planted those hedges myself. I trimmed them, watered them, and trusted them. That morning, they were gone. Not trimmed, not damaged, completely destroyed. The soil was torn open, roots ripped out, tire tracks stamped into the ground like scars. Where privacy once stood, there was nothing but emptiness. My stomach dropped before I even noticed the paper taped to my front door. Emergency Scenic View Enhancement. Action approved by HOA Board. Emergency. The word made my hands shake. The hedges weren't dead. They weren't blocking traffic or causing damage. They were blocking something else, someone's view. I knew exactly whose. When I drove to the HOA office, the parking lot was empty except for a spotless white Escalade. Karen stepped out as if on cue, heels clicking, arms folded, wearing that tight smile that meant she'd already decided how this conversation would go. She told me the board had voted using emergency authority. No prior notice. No compensation. No appeal. You should be thankful, she said. Now your home contributes to the community's scenic corridor. That night, sleep was impossible. Every passing car felt invasive. Headlights swept through my bedroom. Drivers slowed down, curious, staring. My home had become scenery without my consent. I sat at the kitchen table and opened the HOA handbook, not in anger, but with focus. If they wanted to play by the rules, I'd play better. They controlled fences, colors, plants, and landscaping heights. But buried deep in the document was a section most people ignored: temporary storage structures. One paragraph. One mention of shipping containers. 90 days allowed. Setback rules. No language about appearance, stacking, or condition. No rule against rust. The first container arrived on a rainy Tuesday. The crane groaned as it lowered a massive, dented, rust-streaked shipping container onto my driveway. It was ugly, industrial, and completely compliant. Karen showed up within minutes, voice already raised. I calmly handed her printed pages of the HOA rules. She argued. I waited. The rules didn't move. Then came the second container. Then the third. Neighbors stood in their driveways whispering like they were watching a storm form. I stacked the containers carefully, bolted them together, offset like bricks. I added steel stairs and subtle amber lighting, soft enough to avoid violations, bright enough to be seen. Where my hedges once stood, a wall rose instead. A fortress of technical compliance. The HOA called an emergency meeting. Karen tried to dominate the room. I let her burn herself out. When it was my turn, I slid their own rulebook across the table and asked them to point out the violation. No one could. The vote was postponed. By day 60, the scenic corridor was gone. Drivers stopped slowing down. There was nothing pleasant to see, only rusted steel blocking the view they stole my privacy for. Karen filed complaints daily. Noise. Safety. Fire hazards. Each time, inspectors came, checked their lists, and left. One of them smiled and said, "Creative solution." That smile was worth everything. On day 89, I received a letter. The HOA wanted to resolve the issue amicably. They offered to replant my hedges at their expense, issue a written apology, and revise emergency powers so this never happened again. I waited until day 90 to respond. The containers were removed piece by piece. Fresh soil replaced the scars. New hedges were planted, taller, denser, stronger than before. As the leaves filled in, the road disappeared once more. Karen stood across the street, arms crossed, watching her scenic view vanish for the second time. This time, there was nothing she could do. My home felt like home again. Quiet, private, protected. They took my hedges for a view. I gave them a wall they'll never forget, using nothing but their own rules.